Hello again. So we on our 10th videos. So today we're gonna speak about a do while loop statement. So the previous video we did loop, we did a while loop, and then we also did a, um, a loop on its own, and then loop with the statement. So now on this video we're gonna do a do while loop. As I said to you guys the last time on the other video that while loop is just a for loop which is broken into pieces. So a do while loop is similar, just that they had another word in it which called do. Okay, so let's start. Randomly declare a small value where we can use the value to do a do while loop and see how the do while loop works. Then we can change that and allow the user to input something, allow the user to input the value and use the value into the do while loop. So ideally the concept of do while loop is just an instruction. It's like a restriction, a condition, similar with an if statement. Okay, so as I explained to you guys in the last previous video, that the first thing you need to do is to declare a variable and assign the variable to a data type so that you can work on it. So let's start. We declare we're gonna declare a data type called integer. We call our variable, let's choose a variable name, we can call it just x for now, and let us assign the value maybe equal to 20. Okay, so now we're gonna say a do while loop. Strangely enough, you start with do. You don't start with while. You start with do. In the do, what you do, you put a statement. Like for instance, let's say we just do something. Say console dot write line. In the write line, we're gonna have to pass maybe a message. So let's just say we can say n equal. Let's use this and do that. And then on the other side, what we do, you can just say comma and we pass the value which is n, or x, sorry, I'm using x value, sorry, so we pass that value. So then here too, let me change it to x, so I'm using x. Okay, so we pass that value there. As I said in my previous video, this comma you can even change it. Some people prefer to use plus sign, which is the same thing. There's no difference. Okay, as you realize or see here, we got a red line. Every time you see a red line in C# in development, it means that there's an issue, there's a problem, something is missing. Okay, you can see they're saying a syntax while expected syntax error. So because a do, when you do a do, you have to finish with what? With a while. So here now, what we need to do, we need to increment the value. The x, we're gonna increment the x so it goes plus plus forward. And then outside of that, then we can do the while. So we put while there, while. In the while, we're just gonna put a condition. Remember, we need to have a condition. So we're gonna say n. Let's just use x. Let's say x is less than 5. Less than 5. So then we put a semicolon there. Okay. So and then here let's just say let's try to run this console application and see what could happen. Use read line. You can use read key. It's the same thing. Even if you use read line, it's similar. Right. So now, before we go ahead and run this application, let me just go back and to try to explain. This is a do while statement. So a do while statement, strangely enough, is start with a do, and then you put your statement, your response or your statement that you wanna display, and then in the end, then you do what? Then you do the condition. The condition come last in the while, right? So first it comes, start here, it's gonna run this one, it's gonna increment this value, then validates the condition, and then display the result. Okay, so let's now run this and see. This is very similar to while loop. As I said to you guys, while loop is just the same as a for loop. So it's just a for loop which is break it down in pieces. Okay, so the same thing with do. Do also still the same. It's just that it's the same as a while loop, but just with a do. Right. So the statement have to be right. The syntax error is when you do a while in the end, but there's no do. That's going to give you a syntax error. So this is like the structure in which the do while loop is supposed to be executed. So start with do and end with while. So you cannot start with while and end up with do. It's not going to work. So this is the structure of do while loop. Okay, so it's taking a long to load. Sometimes it does. You just need to be patient. Okay, here we go. So this is what we have. We can see there we having x equal to 20. Now let's go back. If we go back to this message here, let me just okay, the output was x equal to 20, isn't? If we go here, um if we go here, if you look here, you can see the value x is output. It's hard coded, which is here, the value 20. So what this do while loop does, it check if this is less than 5. If it's less than 5, so it display what? It display the value of x. So it check the 20, display the 20 here. Okay. Now let's go back again. Because this x value is greater than 5, so the statement just end there. Right. Let me show you again. Let's run it again one more time and we can see what I'm talking about. If we look at can you see now? They said x equal to 20. So you just take the value of x without getting into the condition. Because when it comes here, x is 20. X is not less than 5. So it just display the answer straight. Right? Because then remember, in the while we got nothing else. We only got one condition. Okay. So now let's do something where we can allow the user to input values and see what happens. We're still going to use x. So let's go back here and then we're going to say console. We just allow the user now to input the value. We're not going to outcode our value anymore. Let's give a user to enter the value. So we're going to say here, please enter the number x. Right, so we'll do that, and then here we're gonna say the remember it's a type of integer, so we need to convert the x value. So we're gonna say x equal to int. So let's just use int 16 dot pass. So in here we're gonna pass console dot read line. Right, so this will convert the value. So we ideally, what we can do, we also can just pass the value of x here again, but we don't need to because we got it already in the bottom, so it's fine. Let's just enter the value. Okay, so let's save this and let's run this one now, this application, and see what happens. So what we did now, instead of outcode our value of x, now what we did, we give the user an opportunity to enter the x value. So let's say the user enter 3. Can you see what happened? As soon as the user enter 3 and they say the value of x is what? It's 3 and it's 4. So let's go back to the application. So what it did is that when the value, because the value is less than 5, the value is less than 5. So it added, what it did, it added a value which is next to 5. So it's 3 and 5 because the value we entered, it was 5. So now let's go and enter. If we put 20 or we put 30, it's going to just say x equal to 30. So it's not going to add, anything because that's beyond the condition. So let's say x is 20 now and click enter. Can you see? It just say the value of x 20. So it doesn't go to the loop. It doesn't go to the condition to check if it's true. It goes to the condition. It check. You can see this thing is not true. because it's not true, by default it comes and what and display this, right? So if it doesn't meet this requirement, then by default it comes back and display what is inside the do. Okay, so first when the user enter the value, is gonna come here to the while and check the condition. The value here of x, if is 20, which is mean 20 is greater than 5, is not less than 5, that means it doesn't meet this condition, so it's not gonna break. So it's gonna come here inside the do and then just display the value of x. That's it. But if the user enters something with less than 5, it's gonna come here and say 3 is less than 5. Okay, 3 is less than 5. Now then it comes back 3 less than 5. Then what's gonna happen is gonna come back and see here's to increment. So that means it's gonna display 3, 4. Anything that is before 5. So let's just go back and try that. Let's put 1 and see what happens. Let's put 1 and we're gonna see how this thing gonna display. So let's say the value of x is 1. Okay, enter. Can you see? So it did 1, 2, 3, 4. So it display everything before until 5. Remember, now this condition work in index of or position of, right? So if you want to display 5, it's going to display 4, right? Because of the index. So you start from index of 1, right? Doesn't start for index of 0. So it starts for index of 1. So it's going to display 4 items. So that's what we have here. We have 4, right? So yeah, so that is how the do while loop works. That is how it works. So he comes here first. When the user enter the value, he's gonna come here first and then check here. If this value is less than 5, then display everything. If this value is greater than 5, then it's not gonna crash this application. It's gonna come in and by default it's gonna display this value, right? Display this value, which is gonna just input the value of x to here, the one the user inputted, right? And display it here. So it's very straightforward. That's how the do while loop works. This is only the only way and the only one structure of do while loop. So the do is always on the top, the while is in the end, but the condition is in the while. As I said to you guys, if you remember when we spoke, I said a while loop is just a for loop broken in pieces. So even the do while loop is the same. If you look at the for loop, this int x, let me just put an example of for loop here. Said for, so we're gonna say int x. We can even assign the value if you want to. Let's just assign it equal to 0. Now for this instance, because we assign it equal to 1, so let's do this, and then we said this, and we said x, x equal to x is less than 5, and then x plus plus, x plus plus. Okay, so this is the for loop. How this whole thing will be written. This is a for loop. And then if you realize this int x equal to 1 is this one, is this part here, right? And then this condition is the one which is here in the while, right? And this part of incrementation is the one that is here inside the do condition. Can you see? So all of this do while and while loop is just the if statement, I mean just a for loop which broken into pieces, different pieces. Okay, so yeah, then you, as I said to you guys in my previous video, that you need to be, when you're designing or writing or developing, you need to be able to write code user friendly. So use a nice language. Okay, inform the user that after this he must click next or whatever, or after this happen, what's gonna happen. So you need to be able, like, put a message to tell the user. Maybe let's say you're gonna add console dot write. I just use write line, and then inside here we'll tell the user, please, sorry, string here, we'll tell him, please click exit, click enter to exit. Right, so we do something like this to inform the user so that the user won't have a problem. Okay, thank you very much for watching the video. Please subscribe and like my videos. I'll see you until the next video. Okay. care. Be safe.